woman and bring this woman home. That ensuring that manuscripts reach their highest potential. That's what we do, editorial guidance. I am a scholar of literature and a teacher of English language. And to us, when we receive a manuscript, because of the skills we've acquired, of course, in teaching the subject, our duty is to check and ensure that can this manuscript reach where it must. That's our biggest goal. If it doesn't meet the standards, we don't trash it. Our responsibility is to ensure that we guide you so that you're able to bring it to the standard that it must be. As publishers, beyond refining content, we offer mentorship, which I already talked about, connecting writers with experienced professionals who help them to sharpen their craft. I thank God for Uganda Christian University. When they advertised their first creative writing course, my heart was filled with joy. It was such joy that I could only express to myself and keep smiling in the house. Why? I saw another promoter of talent. This time around, I believe they were not looking at it from the angle of making money, but from the angle of, can we raise people who are going to immortalize the stories of West Nile? And I thank God for you, Director UCU. Trinity was part of that class, and now her dream is working. As publishers, we facilitate access to the market. That's one of the things we do. We know that there are so many talented writers, and they struggle with access to the market. They struggle with visibility. But through strategic publishing and marketing, together with our team that does videography, the media team, this is our duty to market publishers. Give them the platform, call them forward, talk to them, find out what have they written about. Because quite many of them are up to addressing social challenges that we're facing. Quite many of them have embraced literature as a tool for advocacy. And therefore, if you give them the opportunity, you will hear of some of the issues that they keep addressing in their literature. And I thank God, as West Nile, we're heading towards the right direction, especially with initiatives such as this. I want to point one last thing about our role, that whether through print or digital platforms, it is our duty to create opportunities for writers to have their works read, appreciated, and recognized beyond the borders of our region. When you talk about northern Uganda, the common names that reverberate in the literary arena are names such as Okot Pabitek. There are names such as Taban Loliong of Sudan. But because he had a connection with Okot Pabitek, you hear that name. Thank God that through names such as Dr. Sylvester Njivwa, a medical personnel, now we have a representation in the curriculum. He wrote a book called The Heart Soothers. And then through the likes of Award for Olga, and now through the likes of Trinity Peace Goronro, we have a representation. And if we can rally behind such individuals, I believe that the creative writing industry in West Nile can go beyond what we had actually imagined. We face challenges as publishers, and the challenges we face are common to all publishing houses in Uganda. According to a report in 2019, a report by Uganda Communications Commission, only 12% of books come from other parts of Uganda. In other words, from a region such as West Nile, there is a real underrepresentation. You might find out of 100 books published in Uganda in 1 year or more, about 80 of them come from central Uganda. The question is, what are we doing? Where are we? What's happening? And this is where, as publishers, we come in so strong. One of the gaps I saw in my region before I came back home was we did not have a publishing house that we could call our own. I struggled to look for one. I know we have entities that try to package books together so that we can access them. But to talk about recognized publishing firms from our region was an issue, which is why with these like-minded young people, we decided and said, enough is enough, we're gonna do it. What challenges do we face? Besides the few or maybe even the non-existent publishing firms, the reading culture, not only in our region, but in the nation, is still very low. It is still very low. And as such, you find it is a very difficult thing to, you face challenges when you try to organize an event or talk to people that are, if it's a publishing firm, I know that I'm going to face it rough. But that is not the essence of the existence of publishing firms. And these challenges are there by educational publishing, leaving very little room for creative literature. And this has really stifled the growth of fiction poetry. As people who are literature enthusiasts, when we rally behind such individuals as Gorondru, we are able to break this poem, which I last held at campus in the names of Song of Lawino, Song of Malaya, in the names of Song of the Prisoner, all works published by Okot Pabitek. But when I held that work of Trinity Peace Gorondru, in my heart I said, this person is trying to revive a pattern which had already been established by Okot. And this kind of literary genre should not go unnoticed. And it was an interesting journey publishing a manuscript of that nature. Ernest Hemingway, an American author, said, but in West Nile, people who are trying as much as possible to shed their emotions on paper, and it is befitting for us to rally behind them. What can we? We need to encourage local investments in publishing. Our investors out there, you need to realize that this industry is an industry worth investing in. You can put your money in there and you gain from it. How do you gain from it? Not be this person is not from our region. This person misrepresent you if you don't represent yourself. In a workshop with NCDC, someone made a statement and said that if you don't speak for yourself, no one will speak for you. If we don't support, and we are the ones to push this story far. As I draw towards the conclusion, we can foster a culture of reading. We have creative writing classes in schools. I want to appeal to school heads, to institutions, learners. I know we are a little protective when it comes to handling our learners. But one of the things that is going to make them thrive, if the doors remain closed, they will not grow. But I believe that they can grow if only we open the doors. The community-based clubs, let's revive them. Let's have them working. As publishers, we know we have a role of doing things in groups. We could pick a book like Before Your Twilight Fades, and firstly from its title, Before the Twilight of Our Clubs Fade, we need to pick a book such as that and talk about the issues they raise. We need to embrace one important thing, translation. Firstly, of our own works. Because if we don't need our stories, I want to publish literature in the local language, particularly in Lubarati. Of course, it was a very heartbreaking experience when we all failed to sing our own anthem. And I promised myself that by tomorrow, I must get this anthem here, because it is heartbreaking. The writings in our language which are not there. I have 2 works in Lugbarati which are on the syllabus. One is called Oli Ozatani. The other one is a translation of a poetry anthology published by Munigals SS. It's called Tender Shrills, but it was translated, and when the quality of that work was checked, NCDC decided to give it an upper hand as a book that must go on the syllabus in the local language. Now, we need more of these, and they're here, seated in front of me. Some of them have names such as Ngaka, Adriko, Fenia. They are here. We need them out. As publishers, we are here prepared before I even came to her, and that blessed my heart. We need this work in other languages as well. We need to costs and make books more easily accessible. One of the things you could do as a writer is make it simple. Copies later. And we're here to make sure such things happen, because we must push the literary industry of West Nile very far. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, if I lamented, know that it is for a cause, because it speaks a lot about immense potential, not just for entertainment, but for education, for advocacy, for literature from West Nile. The great Chinua Achebe said that the writer cannot expect to be excused from the task of bringing his own people to a consciousness of their destiny. And so by fostering collaboration among writers, publishers, and stakeholders, West Nile to a world that doesn't know West Nile. Let us invest in our writers. Let's protect our literary heritage. If you can give, please give. If you cannot write and an author says, I am here to write, can you support me? Support them. Perhaps in them you would have written your study. Can we have more Lubarastic used for stirring? The essence of stirring the hearts of people to do something. That's what we want to rebrand. Everyone who believes in the dream of a person like Trinity Gorondro. I speak this in the names of what we stand for as PSR publishers.
That was powerful. And the young people had promised you that somebody's going to, we applaud again, to put something amazing like this. Like we said, we're focusing on the theme, and we're trying to make sure we bridge that gap and make sure it's all well. And now my good brother Ngaka Brian to share with us. As it comes through, I would like to encourage us to have love. Let's keep loving each other. It's amazing to have love.
Good evening, everyone. It's a great opportunity to be here with you this evening. My name is Arua, Uganda. It's an interdenominational gathering of young people, and we teach people. I came with the minister admin, Mr. Penuel Ozimati, who is right there. I am an advocate by profession. I'm a qualified lawyer. I practice with MS Alaka and Company Advocates, and I sit in the office of Arua. I also sit together with PSR. I am the legal advisor of PSR and one of the founding members. This journey of the literary work involving Peace Gorondro has been an interesting one. And before I go into my presentation, I would like to give you just a snippet of actually how we met. I was given the privilege by Mr. Jerry 2 days before publishing, to be accurate, close to midnight, to deliver a foreword by 6 a.m. Reading is what I do. In a year, reading. Remember that of what the author, and therefore I must give a precise and accurate representation of the message and the intentions. That's when I sent my email. I'd seen peace once, when actually she came to Coast. She wrote to Jerry and said, I would love to see Mr. Ngaka Brian, who wrote the forward, and appreciate. Meeting ended up about 3 hours.